Hey everybody, it is Melanie Mitro and I am the host of the Women Inspiring Women podcast. And today I'm doing things a little bit different. So you might be listening to this podcast on iTunes or Spotify, SoundCloud, or you might even be watching my face right now on YouTube. So I decided that I was going to broadcast this episode live because I want to get this content into as many people's hands as possible because it's a little bit different than what I typically do today. So if you are following me, make sure that number one, you subscribe to my iTunes podcast. It's called Women Inspiring Women. And every Tuesday, I drop you new episodes that are going to help you improve your mind, that are going to help you improve your life, that are going to help you be the best version of yourself that you can be. And I am a passionate entrepreneur that found my calling because of network marketing. And it has really led me down this path of a love for leadership and mentoring other people and growing my own organization. And then also public speaking and training. And I really have a passion for helping people create a strategy for their business, managing their time and implementing and working through all of the thoughts that come along the way. And as a business owner who has been doing network marketing for almost 9 years now, I have had a lot of experience and a lot of stories to share with you. And hopefully this podcast gives you hope and inspiration, tips and tactical tools to help you build the business and live the life that you love. All right. But before we dive into what I'm going to talk about today, the first thing I'm going to do is I like to shout out my listeners who take the time to go over to iTunes and leave me a rating and review. So let's give a shout out to an incredible listener who actually didn't leave her name. So I'm just going to say her name is This Podcast is for Everyone. And she left this review and she said, I was so excited when Melanie said she was going to start a podcast. She is such a wonderful speaker, very inspiring, and love the business topics that she discusses. Since growing a business can be stressful, overwhelming, and frustrating at times, she has this way about helping you to ease the pain, yet being straightforward. Good. That was totally my point. She won't sugarcoat things, but has a heart to understand struggles. Good job, Melanie, and you are my mentor. So thank you to whoever left that review. Guys, head on over to iTunes, leave me a rating and review. I would love to hear from you. This is how I continue to provide you with inspiring content. And if you have suggestions for future episodes, you can email me at mjmitro@gmail.com, and I would be happy to take your suggestions into consideration. All right, let's dive into today. So guys, we are into 2020, right? So the third full week of 2020, and my vision board is still sitting on my desk. I hope that your vision board is sitting on your desk too. But the one thing that I had the courage to do was I had the courage to share my vision board public. And I've had the courage to really discuss some of the things that truly are weighing on my heart that I really want to focus on in this year. And so I'm actually going to grab my vision board. No, if you're listening, you can't quite see this, but this is my vision board, guys. And one of the things that we're going to talk about today is this little guy right up here in the corner. And it is a picture of a woman, and she is standing in a field, and she is looking out into the sunshine, and her arms are wide open. And I chose that photo because it symbolizes freedom. It symbolized vulnerability. To me, like somebody standing like this is like absolute bliss, contentment, happy, and anxiety free. And I actually wrote those words, anxiety free, up there in the corner, because I would say out of all the goals on this vision board, if I can make this one become my reality in 2020, if I can really focus on that, that's probably the number one thing I'm really harnessing outside of productivity right now. I understand that it's going to empower me to have more confidence when it comes to getting on stage. If I am anxiety free, it's going to help me with living my best life, and it's going to help me sort of have better relationships. And so for me, that really is the one thing that I've been focusing on. And you guys know that I've been sharing with you a lot about this Living My Best Life journey. So if you haven't subscribed to the Living My Best Life email series, go ahead and click the show notes and make sure you enter your email, and you're going to get a weekly email from me about living my best life. This is sort of a series I've been doing with my followers. It's completely free. I'm giving you a weekly update and some advice. And so part of this living my best life came out of this concept of, number one, I know that it's easy to get complacent in our lives, and complacency is really, it steals our joy. It makes us feel we're lazy when we're complacent. We're status quo. We're not growing. And so for me, I felt like I was complacent in my health and my fitness. So I was getting comfortable, and I was starting to maybe creep back up with the pounds that I had originally lost. And I noticed that my complacency was leading to extra cocktails, and it was leading to extra, unhealthy carbohydrates. And I was sort of creating distance between the goal, between like my healthiest self and where I wanted to be. And I was just sort of getting off track. And I noticed that because of that, what was happening is that my anxiety level was going up. Increased alcohol means increased anxiety, right? Poor food choices means more sugar cravings, more energy crashes, less stable energy. And so for me, living my best life is right in line with anxiety free, with being my healthiest self. And so I set that goal of living my best life because I truly want to create, an environment where I'm thriving, my family is thriving, where I've got patience every single day, where I've got energy to show up and do the work that I want to do. And the work I want to do, man, you guys, the work I envision myself doing in 2020 is, if you think that I maybe have accomplished a lot in the past, you have no idea what's about to happen. I don't stop. And that's a personality trait of mine, is I'm always trying to figure out how I can level up, how I can be the best version of myself. But in order to become the best version of myself, in order to level up and fill a stadium or host a live event that has thousands of people in the audience, in order to get to the speaking engagements that I want to get to, there are a lot of things that I have to do in order to get there. There are a lot of ways I have to grow. And so really addressing this anxiety, this where the root of it is at, is the only way that I'm going to be able to step into that version of myself that I want to be. And so I feel like this year is going to be that year of internal growth. And so over the last week, I have really been thinking about, and you guys, how many of you, just give me a virtual raise your hand. How many of you right now are saying things like, man, weight loss is hard, or eating healthy is hard, right? We're on day 14 of the new year. And I know if you're I'm saying those things, this is hard, right? And I've been on this journey for a long time, but how many of you are saying wow, it is taking every bone in my body to get through the day and not fall apart, to not eat the donuts in the break room, to not go by Starbucks and not zip into the drive-through line and grab my favorite latte. It's so hard to not want to pour myself that glass of wine after a long day at work, or a stressful, altercation with a coworker or my significant other, or my kids are testing me and I just want to dive in to the bag of goldfish and eat them all. It is hard. And sometimes by the end of a week, we can get through an entire week, and then we get to Friday and we've held it together and we fall apart. And so we go into the weekends and we eat back everything because we deserve it. We're rewarding ourselves for having courage all week long. We're rewarding ourselves for, being disciplined Monday through Friday and showing up and getting our workout in. And we're rewarding ourselves because we did say no a couple of nights this week to the alcohol or the treats in the pantry. And so on Friday night, we have the pizza and we have the wine, and we, think we deserve to have, the donut when you're going through the drive-thru on the way to the kids' basketball game. And so before we know it, we get back onto the scale, we get back onto our workouts on Monday morning, and maybe you're like me and you like to take those visual progress pictures, and I take the pictures and I'm right back where I started. I'm right back where I started 7 days ago because I ate back my deficit. I ate back all of the hard work that I put in over 7 days. And for the love of God, that is emotionally hard, but I ate it back in 2 days. 2 days. And so what we do is we put up our guard. and we start to say things like the program doesn't work, or those people are photoshopped, or maybe it's a negative spiral where you start to say to yourself, I'm not worthy of weight loss. I'm not worthy of success. I'm not worthy of achieving my goals. See, you're always going to be overweight. You're always going to have no willpower. And so you put up this guard and you start to validate why you are again back where you started. And that, my friends, that is the lies that we're telling ourselves instead of, and that's easier. That's way easier than actually saying to ourselves, I need to address the root cause. And I need to take ownership of my behavior, because when you really drill it down, it's not that the program doesn't work. It's just that we need to do the work, and we can't expect that in 14 days of a new year that we are going to completely transform our bodies. And I know I've been talking about health and fitness, but let's also look at that from a business perspective. How many of you are business owners and you've recommitted to your network marketing business in 2020, and you're like, this is the year that I build the business. Like the year I put that vision on my goal board, or that goal on my goal board, this is the year I actually do it? Or how many of you are like, this is the year I start that business, and it's already 14 days in and you're like, it is hard. People are ignoring me. Nobody's saying yes. I'm not getting likes on my post. Like, I hear that all the time. So whether it's your health and your fitness, it's your business, it's your relationships, the bottom line is it's work, and it is hard. It's just, we get to choose our hard in this lifetime. We get to choose complacency or growth. We get to choose to let the struggles that we face, and for me, it's anxiety, right? We get to choose whether or not we're going to let that define us, or we get to choose whether or not we're going to let it empower us. And so today I'm talking about the heart of the 14 days that I've gone through in 2020. But let's talk about the first thing. I put it on my vision board. I had the courage to say, this is the year. No more. This is the year. I've been dealing with this since 2003. So this is the year. This is the year. And I'm willing to put in the work in order to make it happen. So the first thing I did was I had the courage to put it on the goal board. The second thing that I did was I had the courage to share it publicly. I put it out there on social media. I have been super vocal about my anxiety issues that I have. And because I've put it out there, because I've talked about it, guess what has happened to me? There are people that have come to me with suggestions, and I love hearing people's advice, right? Sometimes I take it, sometimes I don't. I listen to everything, but somebody sent me, it was actually my sister-in-law. She sent me an email, and I don't know. I mean, I've always talked about my struggles with anxiety, and I posted about it on my social media, and I've talked about it pretty openly that it's something I'm working on. And so she sent me an email, and she said, hey, I just wanted to forward this to you. I thought you might be interested. And so it's an author. Her name is Jenny Allen, and Jenny Allen is a Christian author, and she is getting ready to launch a book called Get Out of Your Head. And it's all based on anxiety, toxic thoughts, and what people think about you. And so she's doing this book launch, and she sent me the email, which was an invitation to be a part of the launch group. It was an invitation to get early access to the book if you pre-ordered it. And it was an invitation to listen to and download resources and a podcast series that are all about anxious thoughts and spiraling out of control. And so immediately I subscribed, I pre-ordered the book, I joined the Facebook group, I downloaded it to the mobile device that I have that I can read the book on, and I started reading it, and I started listening to the podcast, and I thought to myself that if I wouldn't have been public about what I was struggling with, that connection would not have happened. If I would have been suffering in silence about, that's the power of social media. And so often we can look at social media as a negative thing, but the fact that I shared that has opened up an avenue for me to get support. And you guys, like, even through that series, that podcast series that I'm listening to, and through reading the book, I've already began to adopt these strategies of no, I have a choice. I have a choice to spiral out of control and think about those things. I have a choice, and the what if statements and how to serve people. And there are so many tactics in just 14 days that I have implemented in my life. Doesn't mean the anxiety's gone. It's still very much there, but my toolbox is getting a little larger. Number two, I swear that God works in mysterious ways, because he put me in connection with a woman who was like, I just want to meet up with you for coffee. I just want to chat, right? And so she's somebody that our kids had gone to preschool together. And so we sit down for coffee, and I wanted to talk to me about my degrees and my education. And so she was interested in picking my brain about where, like, my career path and my undergrad in psychology. And here she has a passion for helping women that struggle with anxiety and depression. And she's very faith-based and runs these Bible studies. And so we had this discussion of Get Out of Your Own Head and the book and Jenny Allen. And she invited me to her church and to study. And I thought, I really feel like that was connected on purpose, for a purpose, something I felt very empty and hollow about and didn't really have a connection. And look, like, these avenues are starting to come together. And the other one, because I put that out there, the next one is somebody sent me an email, and it was through the Living My Best Life, right? Like, I could send these weekly emails out to you guys of my weekly Living My Best Life update. And I could be like, everything is great. I am rocking my fitness results. I'm rocking my nutrition. I'm happy. I'm healthy. My family is perfect. Da, 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 da. But no, I got vulnerable with you guys. And I'm like, this is the struggle. The struggle. This is how I'm working through it. This is what I'm doing. And because I said that in an email and I talked about some of my strategies, this woman emailed me. She said, do you ever hear of RTT therapy? I said, no, I have never heard of it before. And so she said, it's a form of sort of hypnosis that really helps you uncover some of those triggers and underlying reasons. And it's really helped a lot of people. And so I first of all filed that email in my Melanie to address folder and thought, I'll come back to that at a later date. And so what I did was I came back to it about a week later, and then I Googled RTT therapist in Pittsburgh, and I found someone. And I did a consultation with her. I had the courage to make the phone call, and I talked to her, and it's exactly what I'm looking for. It is exactly, I felt this instant hope. And even as we were walking through the discovery call, she had uncovered things that I know are true about myself, that I know are probably the root cause of why I am the way I am. And I ended up making a commitment to an 8-week program with her. And I'm so excited about it because I feel like I am making these steps towards that goal. But it's because I didn't just put it on my vision board. It's because now I'm talking about it. And I'm talking about what I'm doing, and I'm asking people for advice, and they're giving me advice. And the advice that they're giving me is helping, and it's connecting me to other people. So if you are listening to this right now, and it may not be mental health related, but it might be business related, put it out there, what you're looking for. When you put it out there, when you go searching for things, when you start talking about it, when you become, like, in a healthy way, obsessed with reaching a goal, doors and opportunities are going to open. But if you just sit in your cubicle or in your home office or at your current job, just wallowing in the goal that you have that you don't know where to go for, and you're not sharing it, you're lonely. You're by yourself. And that's the cool part about community, is when you lean into a community, they help you find the solution. They encourage you to keep going when it gets tough. Because here's the thing, I'm talking about positive things right now, but the one thing I want to share with you is, for real, it's hard. Like, for real, this is really hard. It is really hard because I am in a very high profile position. I mentor people every day. I have hundreds and hundreds of people that I mentor. And I get up on that stage and I present and I lead people. And it is hard because I care deeply about my people and how they feel, and that they feel as though they're a part of something. And there are situations that I have to work through where it causes me immense anxiety, and I refuse to let it keep me from doing what I feel called to do. And it's just like eating healthy. Like, it is hard some days, you guys. Like, everybody just wants to sometimes eat all of the donuts and drink all of the wine, and sometimes we just don't want to eat the vegetables, and we just don't want to cook the healthy meal. But if we want to change so bad, because we We don't want to live under the current circumstances that we're under, whether it's a lack of, self-confidence, or you just don't like the clothes that you're wearing, or you have no energy and you just feel blah all the time. And like, you have the choice. And that's the one thing I keep hearing. I have the choice to think those thoughts. I have the choice to stay in the job. I have this choice to make my life so busy that it's overwhelming to me. I have the choice to be overwhelmed and out of control with my calendar. I have a choice to either stay in the current situation or make steps to get out of it. And so I understand that you are going through something hard, because we all are going through something hard right now. But what I want to encourage you to do is to be public about the hard. But don't be public about the hard in a way that is like, woe is me. Be public about the hard and talk about what you're doing to work through the hard. Ask your community, your friends, your family, your people on social for advice. Talk to them about what you're doing. Share the progress that you're making. Again, business, fitness, personal, mindset, relationships, whatever it may be. But you guys, you don't have to do life alone. There's no reason why you should be doing life alone. And it's easy to isolate. It's easy to feel like you're on an island by yourself when things are getting hard. But here's the bottom line. Again, we get to choose. We get to choose alone or with others. And so today, as I share with you, this is my living my best life update for all of you. I'm choosing a different path. I'm choosing a path that, even though it is hard, I know it's going to help fulfill my calling. I'm choosing to be a little more intentional with my time, with my calendar, with my priorities in my life. I'm choosing to maybe have to put a few things on the back burner in order for me to be a little less anxious during my day. I am choosing that. I am choosing every single day to focus on my personal growth, my mindset, my own, gratitude, my vision for my life. I am grateful. I'm making a to-do list. I choose that. And you get to choose that too. So I really hope that today's episode gives you hope to go out there and be vulnerable about what it is that is holding you back. But do it in such a way that creates community, inspires hope in others, and helps you move to a better place. You guys, I'm so grateful for Women Inspiring Women, for my Facebook, for my Instagram, for my email list, for all of you that show up at events, that send me private messages. Like, you keep me going. You make me want to be the best version of myself that I can be. So thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up today. And thank you for letting me talk through. And I really want to know, what spoke to you today? What are you going to change? I want to know, what are you choosing today to focus on and manifest? Because you are not going to hide behind fear, but you're going to put yourself out there in a really real and authentic way. All right. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And I can't wait to see you guys back here on the podcast next week. Bye, everybody.